Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As you can about title today's video, here to show you how to dribble simple and effective on NBA 2K26. So I had a lot of people reaching out in the comments of my recent videos, asking if I could just make a dribble tutorial on the way that I dribble, saying that it looked very simple and straightforward, same way that a lot of people would like to be playing. So I figured, let's just go ahead and do this with controller cam and all that. Now, I will let y'all know, the controller cam is going to be set up in a different way where it's not live and interactive, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to reenact the controller inputs that I would be doing in these clips right here as well, and highlight the things that you need to do on the controller to do so. Then we're also going to be breaking down just my mentality on some of these things and what we're trying to get into them with, as well as also just show you the SIGs that we're using. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video. And if you do, feel free to drop a like, sub for new time noties, all good stuff. Like always, try to 1,000 likes. So this is gonna be a straightforward vid. We're just gonna be going through this very basic, explaining the way that I move with this very basic style that I enable right here. So as you can see, a lot of escape moves, a lot of step backs. We also have that little move that you might be questioning. How do you do it with that protect dribble, where I'm doing this kind of like fly by people with like a really odd move you've never seen before. Not to mention some things like this, like for instance, telling my teammate to wrap right here, get out of the way. Now, the thing is that this player had been playing my crossovers and stuff very consistently and seen them a lot. As I will mention to you later in the video, I'd be doing a lot of these crossovers behind the backs and stuff that are to my offhand. So naturally, you can see he's playing my offhand really hard. So telling your teammates also to move around you, aka wrap, is another necessity to the way that you'd be playing stuff. Not to mention this move that's very signature of mine right here, the hesi with the Kevin Durant. Look at this right here. This is an absolute lifesaver in this 5-out offense quite a bit. Then we'll also have a couple of moves like this with like the Jordan pull behind the back. Some of these that I'm going to be showing you, I don't have in-game footage because I've been labbing these literally the last couple of days without me even actually being on the game with any gameplay of them. So we also have stuff like this, like I said, with that Jordan pull behind the back, pull aggressive behind the back that you can see is going to be more capable of getting downhill a little bit more of an aggressive way. And this is still another solid aspect of that Jordan pull, so we'll talk about that later in the video as well. D-Book breakdown. Now, I also want to show you that with this in and out combo as well. Now, that Devin Booker stuff, you guys see a lot of guards do that, and it gets like really good crabs into the mid-range and stuff. Now, I want to show you how I utilize it while also in tandem with this in and out move right here of just flicking up on the right stick with no sprint. Look at this. They chain together, and I've already shown y'all this before, how to dunk from the three-point line. I've done a previous video showing this, showing you how to actually do these inputs, but in today's video, we will also be showcasing that. So anyway, lots of stuff to talk about, not to mention that this in and out move that I'm talking about with that Kevin Durant hesi package equipped is able to set your feet on the three-point line every time. At the very minimum, it's at 24 feet 1 inch for me every single time. Also, this laughing standing emote, shout out to Young Dirk, I actually saw him with this. I had a couple of standing emotes I was using myself, but as you can see, that was the whole animation played out that I was just showing a second ago. This right here is when you flick down on when you hit down on your D-pad and simply just sprint directly after it. So anyway, just wanted to show you guys live footage of that stuff. Let's go ahead and show you the SIGs now real quick. I'm gonna go back to my animations. Then we will also get into the part where I'm actually breaking down the footage, explaining my mentality on a lot of the stuff, and also just using the controller cam alongside. Let me flash that on the screen real quick so y'all can see that I actually have it on deck. Now, I will say, like I said, or actually maybe I didn't mention this yet, I have to have a separate controller hooked up. This is on my PC so I can get it to, you know, go to the OBS that I have on the screen right now. I, however, as you can see, am not flicking the stick. This is a separate controller that I have on my Xbox right now. So just understand that that's going to be something that we got to play around, but it's okay. I think it's going to actually work out in our favor for me to actually show you some of these like breakdowns of what I'm doing in game. So here are the SIGs. We got the Levine dribble style, must have for the 6'8", obviously. And for a lot of you 6'8" out there, these are attributes that you're able to attain quite easily, I would like to think. 86 ball handle, 78 speed with ball. I mean, you don't really need 78, you could have 75, and you honestly, in most cases, don't need 86 to do what I do. I would recommend probably more along the lines of like 81 to be able to get the majority of things we do here. Now, there will be some that are a little bit specific to like the attributes that I have. So for instance, Devin Booker breakdown combo is going to be an 85 ball handle requirement. I believe that's low-key all we have that's above 80 though. I mean, Jordan Poole behind the back is an 80. Obviously the crossover's 70, the step back is 70, KD hesi is also 70, same with the spin. T-Mac SIG size up, I don't really use that much to be fair, so if you want to consider that to be a higher requirement, you know, obviously you can consider that. But Jimmy Butler escape, 70 ball handle once again, and even Paul George is 75. So a lot of y'all out there can get these SIGs no matter what you do. So it's very simple, very basic, and you can do it yourself. Not to mention dribble emote laughing. keep that in mind. It's not something we do a whole lot, but it's definitely something that you can still utilize yourself. Now, I don't have the three-pointer or the mid-range to be using go-to shots, or also even majority of the hop jumpers in this game. So I don't have so much of a bag in that regard. If you want to add that to your own, obviously feel free to as well. But I end up just not using the go-to shot because I feel like it gets in the way of my debug breakdown combo sometimes when I try and utilize things like that. So anyway, these are the SIGs. Like I said, feel free to copy them down. All right, so unfortunately, boys, I did this whole dribble cam already thing, but my controller cam was in this top left. It was getting in the way of the text. It looked kind of ugly. It was really big. So I've resized it. Hopefully this is right now. It's going to be up in this top right corner somewhere. What I'm going to do with this, and it's all good, I'll just re-record it. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to pause these game formats a little bit and break this down to you guys with the controller cam because it's plugged into my PC, like I said. So now what I'm able to do is just pause it when I'm trying to break down how to do the input of what I'm doing. And then in the same process, I'm also going to try and explain to you guys the mindset of why I'm trying to go into these, moves, doing what I do. So anyway, let's get straight into this. Pro step back plus the LT quick protect, if you will. So what this is going to be right here is, once again, this is going to be that pro step back, but I'm doing it in the snatch back style. What I did to initiate this movement is I'm going to be sprinting downhill like I was moving to left right there. Then I'm going to let go of left stick, and while I do that, also flick down on the right stick. Simple as that. So again, in that sprint downhill, I just simply let go of it and flick down on the right stick. It's what's going to initiate this pro step back right here. Then directly off of this, I'm tapping my left trigger, and it's going to do this LT quick protect move right here. So tapping LT, boom. As soon as you do that, you're going to hold RT and move directly to that ball hand side, and you're going to see it initiate like that. Boom. Like I said, we're just going to sprint to that ball hand off of tapping left trigger, and it's always going to go toward your ball hand. Simple. Go to the meter dunk. Easy, right? That type of a movement sets you up really good for the downhill dunks, and you're going to see it off this one again right here. So once again, a snatch back into that LT quick protect into the dunk. Same thing as the last one, so I'm not going to spend any time breaking that one down. Now with this one, this is going to be the Jimmy escape that I want to put on display, so let's go ahead and just highlight essentially that. Now what I'm going to do first in this is going to be a pro step back, and this is from the stationary perspective. So I could literally do this one hand. I just hold RT, flick down on the stick. It's going to give this move right here. Now directly off of that, I'm going to go into the Jimmy escape, which you do with your right stick, or with your right stick to the right while holding right trigger. And as you're going to see, it's going to initiate a move like that. So in order to get something like that, the ball's in my left hand, I just simply flick right stick to the off hand. And now, as far as the timing of when you actually sprint with this and the angle you're going to do it at, I would say, obviously, I mean, you can see when I did it, so obviously try and assume the timing on that. As far as the angle goes, you have to get this pretty right or else the speed boost will be kind of garbage. I'd like to think you have to do it a tad bit more horizontal, about where I'm holding right now while holding right trigger. So let's just run that one back a little bit and you can see it play out full speed. So once again, off of that, we're going to do that pro step back from the stationary perspective. It's going to put the ball in our left hand. Then off this pro step back, boom, escape and hold into that type of an area. I just kind of did it in about the same timing I would probably do it normally, so feel free to try and just put that into action yourself. Now, anyway, right here, pro step back generating threes. I don't have to break it down to you. I already told you about it. Now I just want to show you how it's useful in terms of the way that we set things up. Now, the movements that I've shown you guys off these escape moves, I've already shown you I can threaten downhill dribbling with this, and that's why it's so important to implement this pro step back into your game. If you want to use D-Book and you have it, you can feel free to. I love the pro though. I love how it works in the snatchbacks that you'll see a little bit later. I love how it works in the stationary as well, and shooting off it in general feels very comfortable. So anyway, point is though, I've shown a lot of downhill threat with my escape moves already to this team. I've been threatening it like with the right and the left, and that I can drive off it quite a bit. So as you can see, both hashes go down to pinch, and this dude reacts to it all in the same fell swoop right here. And as he tries to protect the drive, I then with my next move hit hold right trigger and flick down on that right stick, boom, pro step back, and then shoot directly off it with the rhythm shooting. Easy, wide open shot. Obviously that's the type of stuff we're looking for. So once again, this is going to be in the snatchback style right here, as you're going to see. Snatchback into then had him beat on the drive. This one, however, is going to be from the standstill again. So boom, escape move, pro step back, flick, hold down, flick up, obviously with that rhythm shooting, simple. Anyway, right here I want to talk about the value of up the court dribble moves. So as you can see, cooking them right there. But the prefix of all of this and how the pro crossover was so nice. Like, we got one to just move fast, and then right here, this is threatening downhill movement. Now, I will say, great players will full court press you. They're going to force you to call a lot of wraps. They're going to take away a spot of the court that they don't want you to be. As far as, like, you know, the casual runs, or, I mean, this is still proving grounds against pretty highly ranked people, but when it comes to people that aren't like a top tier lockdown and know exactly what they're doing, you're going to be able to get to stuff like this all the time where you can threaten them with downhill dribbling from half court. So anyway, in order to help you against people like that, even if it's not something that is super helpful to you or not, I figured I might as well show it. This is going to be, again, hold right trigger and flick directly across on your right stick, and it's going to go toward your offhand. And now, as you can see, in order to initiate something like that, it creates a lot of downhill movement threat already. It's going to have him reeling back a decent bit. We're threatening a lot of drive, and as you can see, we're getting a lot of pinch right here as well. I mean, this dude is going to be threatening us a lot. I have 20 points and like 11 assists. He's there to like cut that off pretty hard. Now, what that's going to generate though, as you can see, again, we simulated that downhill movement, snatch back, flick down on that right stick, bring that ball back to the top. This dude's reacting, trying to stop the drive. I'm going to be wide open once again, actually wide open, not even just open on the feedback, but truly wide open. Again, it's really helpful. Now, verbal dribble moves, I want to talk about something like this. This is something where if your teammates can actually react to you really nicely, it would be really preferred, and you don't have to just calm stuff like this out to them. My teammates do a pretty good job at that. This one, however, it wasn't going to be quite as much. If you want to call wraps, it's really helpful. In this case, you can see the defender is doing anything but let me get middle. He does not want me to get back to that spot. He's seen me do that behind the back, that crossover over and over and over again. This is more of an intellectual play rather than just to be talking about how to do dribble moves. I just want to explain to you guys why it's important in terms of adding this to your kit a little bit in fives, especially. Not as much threes. The spacing is really easy to deal with. But in this case, as you can see, this guy is funneling me. He's forcing me to a hash. He's not letting me back to the middle, so I need to call a wrap. I need to tell Kitchen to go across to the top right here, and then ideally if he goes a little bit earlier, it would make it where this guy gets vacated a little bit faster so that I can actually just stay open on this. With him going a little bit late, the defender could low-key just stand right here, and then they just pass that off and switch where this defender would pick up Kitchen and this defender stays low on me, and then I'd have to really wait this one out. I could even get trapped on stuff like that. It's important that your teammates hear that type of a communication from you extremely early, or that they know to go on their own as well. But fortunately, it works out in my favor on that one. We're able to get through on that. Now, this move is going to be probably the most highly requested one to talk about, so let's just do it. As you can see, hesi reset. This is something I do every single time, nearly, that I get beat on, like, you know, me getting into that paint and it's really ugly and I need to get back out. All right, so let's go ahead and break this one down right here. So this is going to be something to get you back from this inside movement. So like me being in this spot, I have like a prosthetic three-pointer. I cap break my three-pointer on. The build has like 40 mid-range or something like that. I don't like being down here at all. So in order to get out cleanly, I'm going to be moving my left stick backwards while also getting ready to flick my right stick toward the ball hand. Now remind you that the ball is in my right hand currently. I need to keep it that way. So if I were to aggressively flick my left stick to the left or something like that, it would, for instance, force my ball back into my left hand. It's not where we want to be at all. So ideally, you hold this down and like barely toward where your ball hand currently is. And when you reach that three-point line, you're going to flick your right stick directly toward where your ball hand is. So aka to the right. So this movement that I'm doing right here, it's exactly what you're going to be doing. And then just flick your right stick to the right when you get to about this range right here. So once again, holding left stick back and toward where our ball hand is, and then flicking that right stick directly toward the ball hand. Boom. KD hesi for that reset right there. Now remind you, you could shoot off it right here. It will just plant your feet and shoot the ball right as you come down. Thing is, defender's on me pretty tight, so we're going directly back into that drive. You can do a dribble move off this as well. I've seen some gnarly crab move off this where if you do the escape and flick directly toward your offhand again with that escape move, you'll get like some super nasty crab move. But in this case, instead, we're just flicking that right stick to that right and get that hesi and just get right back into the paint. It's what you see me do very consistently on these runs. It's one of my favorite moves to go to if I'm getting boxed up on the perimeter here. Or especially inside the perimeter, I should say. Now, what I need my teammates to remember on this, and you might want to convey this to your boys as well, is you need them not to react on wraps and stuff when you end up getting boxed in this midi. I try and explain to my teammates like, yo, clear the perimeter just a tad bit for like one more time. Or the better call would be keep it open on the like top. Or I'll even just say hesi. I'm doing hesi. They know what the hesi is by this point. So point is, boom, go to that hesi. Thing is, these defenders feel very inclined to be pinching stuff like that, so you got to be very aware of that. I think a better way to avoid something like this is to start the dribble move itself from a little bit further away from the side you end up on. So as an example right here, if I were to have started this a little bit further to my left and then like move my player over about 2 feet to the left right here, that's where the perfect ideal spot would be to do something like this, because then you're less pinchable in this area. It just so happens though, we end up going into a spot that somewhat gets pinched. It's okay. That was a good way to set that up, but I just wanted to show you guys how to do that little KD hesi reset right there. It's really, really good for getting you into, like, you know, back into the paint. Anyway, moving along. Some moves that I'm theory crafting myself. Right here, we have the Jordan pull behind the back. This is simply just when the ball is in your right hand, hold RT, flick directly down diagonal to the opposite hand, easy. Jordan pull behind the back, it could generate some threes really good. In theory, that's what I'm planning to do with it. It's just that I don't have too many runs with that. But anyway, once again, hold RT, flick down diagonal on the right stick, it's all you're looking for. Now, for the pull aggressive behind the back, what I'm going to pause this one because I do want to explain this a little bit. So that was me doing an escape move to put the ball in my right hand. That's all you're going to have to do is when the ball was in my left, just boom, escape move that we already shown. This right here, though, is going to be a bit more of a, it's not a complicated move at all, but I just want to show you how to do it. So you're going to be flicking down diagonal on your right stick toward your offhand, and then directly after that, follow that with your left stick. So it's going to be a move like this, and then like this. So remind you, you don't actually hold it. You just flick down and then move your left stick, or in a little bit more of a similar, you know, timing cue of it, more like this, essentially. So anyway, that's how you get that to play out. As you can see, doing a lot of different moves to chain into it. It could really be a staple that I'm planning to add to my game a little bit. It's just we haven't done a ton of it yet in the gameplay. And then this right here as well, something to add to the gameplay a little bit. If you happen to have more mid-range on you, could be really useful. So if you see a lot of people do this Devin Booker move, for instance, in like online gameplay, it really is capable of getting down to that mid-range to get the crabs. For me, however, what I plan to do with it instead is exactly what you're seeing right here. So in order to combine that with that in and out move, which as you can see is just flicking up on the right stick, no sprint or nothing. It's literally just this is how you get that in and out move. Then directly after it, I'm holding RT and flicking up again. That's going to initiate the Devin Booker breakdown combo. And then to get into dunks directly off that, let's go ahead and kind of explain this one a little bit more. So I'm going to play this out with my controller cam as well as I possibly can on something like this. So it's going to be up, then up with RT, so boom, boom, and then directly after you do that Devin Booker, you're going to hold your left stick forward while also holding right stick down to get the dunk. Now, that's not a necessary part of the chain. Let me just do it in like phases. So up on right stick to initiate this move. Then directly after, you're going to hold RT, flick up again. Then directly after this, you're going to switch your left stick over. You're going to like switch over in your brain on your left stick. And now you're holding RT, holding your left stick forward, and then holding down as this dribble move plays out. And then as you're going to see, let me just put my controller above the freaking desk and like hit resume with my elbow right now to make this happen. Boom. You're going to be holding it like that the whole time while that animation plays out, and that's how you get into a dunk. Now, for those of you out there that are maybe thinking that you don't necessarily need something like this, you don't need to be on the dunks with this. This could easily get you into crab areas for the mid-range stuff and get a defender behind you really, really well if you have a high mid-range rating. For me, though, however, I don't have the midi, so I would only be resorting to moves like this if I were trying to initiate this dunk from the three-point line, essentially. So, anyway. In and out, also really good for setting your feet on the line. So we already showed how to do this. You're just simply flicking up on the right stick with no sprint with that Kevin Durant hesi equipped. That's how the animation gets decided as far as what you get out of it. And boom, that will set your feet on the three-point line every time. You're going to see I always get it to be 24 feet and 1 inch whenever I get it to this exactly super close range. Now, next up, this could be a good sub for the LT protect dribble, or the quick protect, if you will, whatever it is. So what I was showing you guys earlier would be, for instance, if I tapped LT and then ran directly toward where that ball hand is. Instead, however, though, what you're going to see, and it's crazy that this is actually a dribble move. I don't know what's more crazy, the fact that the LT quick protect is, or that this is. This is a dribble emote, as you can see. Now, in order to initiate something like what you just saw and let it all play out, I'm hitting down on the D-pad, and then it'll just play out. Now, in order to do this, you have to not really be doing any other dribble moves beforehand. It's very, very finicky as far as like getting into this. So you got to make sure that you're just very simply not doing anything for a second or so. And instead, what's going to happen is as soon as you hit down on the D-pad, you're going to run directly toward that ball hand. It's just simply put a really good way to get toward your ball hand run really quickly. It's very similar to that quick protect of like we do that to get running toward our ball hand. We have a lot of things in this game that are really good for letting us get to that offhand. We have like the pro step back, the Jordan Poole behind the back, the Jimmy Butler escape move, all types of stuff like that. All of those are to get to the right here. We need things to get to the left, and in this case, it's either going to be that LT for the quick protect to run downhill to the left right here, or to do the laughing emote, standing emote, laughing, and just hit down on the D-pad and run directly after it. Now, what I envisioned for a 5-out offense that this would be useful for is if someone were, for instance, if I were on my overload right here, aka I got a teammate that's at the top of the key, a teammate that's on right wing, and then 2 corners. So that's an overload for anybody that's not familiar. And then if the defender ever gave me access to my left right here and didn't force me back into my teammates in the middle, which technically would be a smart thing to do, but if we ever see an opening for it, what you're going to see is, boom, I did that down on the D-pad right there to initiate the dribble move. And then what you're going to see is you can run directly off that by just right after you hit down on that D-pad, run directly toward your ball hand. Simple. Really easy. I'm not here to say that I really have it super, comfortable in my bag yet, but it's very capable in terms of getting you downhill really quickly and really sudden, if you will, too. It really comes out of nowhere. As you can see, boom, it's just snap of fingers, you're running toward your ball hand. It's not something you can typically do when it comes to like trying to just straight up sprint like that. You have to do a dribble move beforehand to really get a great run. So anyway, that's all for our explanations and stuff like that. I'll just let some of this play out while we're just kind of finishing up right here on the video. I hope the controller cam stuff went smooth. It's not really easy for me to do, like I said, because I can't get it directly hooked up to my Xbox. So it only works where like the controller cam can be played through my PC. And I have to do like a whole external controller while I can't even play the game while doing it. I have to simulate what it looks like when I'm playing the game. And hopefully it worked out in a positive way where I could show you it with like, some like post-com gameplay essentially while kind of doing the controller cam afterwards. But yeah, and then I wanted to give you guys that explanation on a lot of stuff of where I'm trying to look to, how I'm getting to them, explain why I like all the SIGs that I do, and then at the very end right there, show some theory crafting SIGs of things that I plan to add to the bag but haven't done just yet in terms of actual runs. Now, I know really unfortunately, these videos probably won't perform well. Dribble tutorials, stuff like that, it unfortunately just doesn't really do too well on YouTube for me ever. So on top of that, it's really unfortunate too because I am giving my whole bag to people who care to look this up if I were ever matching up against them in a Pro-Am matchup or anything like that, or if they happen to watch my videos and then end up playing me, they know my whole bag by that point and I don't know a single thing about their bag. So it's a little unfortunate. It kind of gives away the sauce of like what I do. I have no problem with dropping any info on you guys. I'm not a gatekeeper of any information at all. I'm all for everybody learning however they can play. It's just like I said, it's a little unfortunate that it ends up hurting me a tad bit, but I hope you guys could drop a like or that you at the very least appreciate this type of information. Even if I maybe didn't convey it in the perfect way possible, I will admit it probably was a little bit clunky, the explanations and stuff like that, but I hope it ended up helping you. And this is pretty much a list of everything. Coming up the court, pro cross, if you happen to have Pippen behind the back, it's really good for like that downhill movement that we were showcasing as well. If you, however, want to do the standstill Poole behind the back or aggressive behind the back, I would recommend Jordan Poole instead of Scottie Pippen. But Pippen's good for like, down the court movement essentially. Pro cross, snatch back, those are going to be the 2 things in my bag if I didn't run Pippen behind the back. If I did, that's a 3rd thing. And then as far as stationary dribble moves go, we have all this stuff. The Jimmy escape, the pro step back while standing still, Poole behind the back, just the regular one, stationary. Aggressive behind the back, aka the one that we do with our left stick. LT quick protect, and then sprint to ball hand. KD hesi for the the reset. Devin Booker aggressive breakdown combo paired with also up on right stick, the little in and out move. If you're too far off from the 3-point line, it sets your feet. And then down on the D-pad for the laugh emote. Long story short, lots of stuff in the bag. Very simple. You can do any of these one dribble moves and it could possibly get you open. You don't have to combo anything. It can truly just be a one move thing and you're open. Straight like that. So that's why a lot of people were really appreciating the simple style that I have in any of these ones that I have with the green emojis. It's something I didn't show in the video, but did in the My Court, and it's something I want to add to the bag as well. So anyway, that's all for the video. Hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new to noties, all good stuff. Like always, try this one to 1,000 likes. And if you made it to the end of the video and you want to show your support that you did, put dribble or put bag in the comments, show your support you made it through. Appreciate you guys. I know this is probably a long-winded video, but anybody that was interested in learning stuff like this, obviously, I appreciate you sticking it through. So anyway, That's all. If you guys want to catch me live, I've been streaming on Twitch a little bit more, and I probably will start streaming on YouTube again as well, doing it in like a multi-stream kind of aspect, and you'll see me playing on the 6.8 a lot, coming out here running Point Center. So anyway, that's all. If you want to check out the Twitch, you know, obviously the streams, stay on heads up for the YouTube streams, but if you want to check out the Twitch, then the link in the description, feel free to check it out. Anyway, that's all. On that, take these, man. Peace.